going. So I hope this does not offend anybody. But I did want to just have a little holiday fun. So I was using AI, which is always fun, right? And I said, add some holiday cheer. So here we are. This is the what holiday cheer looks like to the AI. So welcome you guys. We are in the December WUG, the Warewulf user group. Warewulf, as you probably know, is an open source stateless provisioning system for managing HPC clusters at scale. It enables administrators to boot and manage compute nodes over the network without local disks, making it quick and simple to deploy everything from small research clusters to massive top 500 systems. Originally pioneering the concept of stateless node management over 2 decades ago, Warewulf version 4 has evolved to integrate modern container technologies, allowing you to provision containerized operating systems directly to bare metal. It's vendor agnostic, highly scalable, and designed to make managing hundreds or thousands of nodes as straightforward as managing just a few, which is why it's become an industry standard backed by OpenHPC and used across universities, research institutions, and enterprises worldwide. So very exciting, and also happy holidays to anyone celebrating, which I think winter is just a good time to celebrate anything. Or maybe it's just because it's my son's birthday today. I just feel like celebrating. Okay, so this is where I hope no one gets offended. I used your guys' pictures, all of us, and I put it in AI, and I said, add some holiday cheer. So this is what we came with. Quite frankly, Jonathan, I think yours is the best. I'm not sure what's going on your head, but I hope that you enjoy that. So today's agenda, we are going to be obviously doing a little introduction. Hello, my name is Rose Stein, community manager for the Warewulf community. I do not have many answers, but I probably know where to find them. So if you need anything, definitely reach out. We're gonna have a little project and community updates by Jonathan Anderson, who is our current technical steering committee lead. And then we're gonna get into presentations. And then of course, we're gonna have open Q&A. So I just wanna introduce Kyle Nevins here real quick before we get into the updates. So Kyle, he's a program manager at RedLine Performance Solutions, where he supports IT infrastructure management for some of the world's largest supercomputing sites. With over 15 years of Linux systems administration experience, Kyle has extensive expertise in managing large-scale virtual clusters and enterprise Linux environments. His background includes serving as Linux team lead at NOAA, where he led enterprise-scale virtualization and configuration management for Red Hat Linux deployments. Today, he'll share insights from his background on experience migrating customers and people, organizations from Bright Cluster Manager to Warewulf. He is very familiar with other provisioners as well. So if questions come up during his presentation, just jot them down and we can ask at the end, or you can just put them in the chat as well. Okay, and just a little thank you to everyone who is part of the community, number one. So we have 643 members in the Warewulf Slack, which is very exciting. It's growing. I think we're up by 11 from last month. We have an x.com site there. We got a Blue Sky, and of course we've got a YouTube. Now the YouTube is where the steering committee meetings are recorded and posted on there, and then also all sorts of other resources. Like the presentation that Scott did. He's here, thank you, Scott, a couple of months ago. That's in there, and a lot of other resources related, anything related to Warewulf is gonna be in that YouTube channel. So it's a really great resource as well. Anyone is welcome to come to the steering committee meetings. They are on the first and third Wednesday of the month via Zoom, and you can reach out to myself or Jonathan Anderson, or just post in the Slack that you'd like to be invited to them. Again, so thank you to Greg Kurtzer, Jonathan Anderson, Christian Gall, Timothy Middlecoop, and Jeremy Seidel for being on the technical steering committee. And if you want to join that and be part of it, we want you to be there as well. So thank you, thank you. Oops. Oh, okay, that's fine. There we go. Okay. I think this maybe is from last month, but I'm going to stop sharing now, and Jonathan Anderson will get into some community and project updates.
Excellent. So yes, here and here. The reality is, so we're working on 4.6.5 and we're behind. We have this release is just not out yet, and we wish that it was. But it's not too much of a backlog for what we're expecting to get done. And my understanding, I haven't looked at all of these in detail yet to review since the last time I said this, but I believe that we are mostly just small things that just needed to get ticked off now. And the biggest thing that was a kind of the marquee new feature for 4.6.5 that I personally am very excited about, and I'm very grateful to our wonderful friend and contributor Christian Gold for working on this. We have a new feature that was merged this morning to what here says show used tags for overlays. It's kind of expanded beyond that to show all variable metadata that's coming out of an overlay, basically make it easier for us to document how overlays work and what variables they respond to. And this became increasingly applicable because of our expanding use of tags. So since tags, you can just kind of invent whatever tag you want, or resources also. There's no real knowing what metadata you might want to specify on a node without some documentation to make that overlay behave the way that the author of that overlay would want it to. And so this PR does that, and I'm just going to do a little quick demo. We've got, we've put this in Warewulf control overlay info, and in the future maybe we'll have a version that just gives info on the overlay itself, but right now it's meant to give the info on a template that is in an overlay. So an example is getting the info for our network manager overlay, the default template that renders from. So this is, oh, 1 moment. While I type my password without speaking. There we go. So it uses inspection of the template and reflection of the variables in it to find out what variables this template responds to, and then automatically, so I think this template is completely unmodified from before this feature existed. It looks at the data structure that feeds that template and where the data for that comes from. So if it's something that is part of a known command line argument, it'll just tell us that those command line arguments feed into that value. And so you'll know what does that, and then the help text for that command line argument goes here as well. But if you want to take advantage of this functionality, we can see, for example, that it also responds to a number of tags that are not documented here because they don't match to any known command line argument. This template hasn't been updated to have that documentation, but one that we maintain here at CIQ is a cronny. Actually, I will first show it. So it's a really simple template. In the past, it was just these 2 lines, but I have added 2 more lines to it. One is some inline documentation for the template overall, and one is information for this specific tag that the template will respond to. I'm just going to type it rather than look at my history. So if we get info on that, then the Warewulf doc text that was at the top is rendered here, and you can have multiple lines of that and it will concatenate them all together. And then it will look for any comments, magic comments that name a known variable in the template, and we'll use that to populate the help text here as well. It's no option because you can't, well, I guess, we could try and say how you would specify this in the command line with like -minus tag, but that syntax isn't great right now. So it's not specified as an option, but you can document what that tag does in this overlay. So I'm expecting that over time, as we continue to maintain these overlays, we'll see more and more of this inline documentation, especially when we add use of tags in there. But even without any changes, like I said, it gets you quite a ways there, even just by identifying what tags it looks at. And for the most part, you might be able to just infer what it does. Let's look at another one. So let's look at, there was if up down. There we go. So here's the Debian one. Again, unmodified, and it just pulls out the variables that are used in that. So great, that's the main thing that I have to talk about. We're looking forward to getting this release out the door, and now that we've got this kind of main feature work done, I'm expectant and hopeful that this will happen a little bit more quickly. But again, thank you very much to Christian for having this idea in the first place and putting so much time and effort, not only implementing it, but poking me and berating me to review it and get that part done as well. So glad to have it in.
Awesome. Thank you, Jonathan and team. Okay, it's time for our presentation. So, Mr. Kyle, you ready to take charge here of the?
Sure. Happy to.
That awesome.
Find this thing. Second. Can you start? Let's see.
Yeah.
Can you see this? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Perfect. It's in presentation mode, and we can see it great.
Awesome. All right. So, as Rose said, my name is Kyle Nevins with RedLine Performance Solutions. We recently had a customer reach out and engage us to migrate a Bright cluster manager based cluster to Warewulf. So this is going to be some of the high level stuff that we went through with them to do this. And if you have any questions, please let me know. So yeah, they have there was two clusters. I'll get into the details of it in a second, and they wanted to pivot. The main driving factor behind it was one, the cost. When they engaged us, this was at the time Bright was, just jacked up their price, and you never know what they're going to do with their price. So they were concerned about that. Convenience was definitely another one. They were a shop that definitely prefers more of a command line interface based stuff, and Bright is usually they found that most of their stuff needed to be done through the web GUI, or there was just so much stuff in the command line that they needed to do. And then security, that was actually one of the bigger drivers was for security. So their environment is two clusters, but servers per deployment or cluster was one physical head node, had the Slurm scheduler on it, one virtual login node, and then 10 physical compute nodes. They use a SPAC stack on an NFS share for their applications. And then for the network connectivity, they used BMC, 1 gig Ethernet for the management, and then they had 100 gig for their HSN on the back end. So to start off, we grabbed the interfaces off the head node. Obviously, that's going to be one of the more critical parts. The internal net, the 10.0.0.230, that was their management internal one, the provisioning one, and then their HSN was the 172.16 network that you see there. We went through grabbing the various partitions, the devices, network interfaces, the network details, right? We came back, the internal net, the MPI net, all that sort of stuff. So we just sort of gathered all of the stuff that we could from the cluster manager. You can see here's their iDRAC. They have /26s, it's a small scale space, but grabbing the internal net, the MPI net, and the iDRAC net that we saw on the head node. And then I'll show you in a second how those parlayed into the Warewulf stuff. And then here's just an example of the one of the compute nodes grabbing this stuff. So we grabbed the MAC addresses for the NICs as well. In addition to the other stuff, we grabbed the iDRAC IP addresses, internal IPs, the HSN IPs, just so that we're just going to keep it all the same. There wasn't anything horribly exciting there, but those are everybody's pretty familiar with those. And then, went through each of the individual nodes, network informations to grab each of the components there for the interfaces, the BMC info, right? So we can make sure we hooked all that stuff up. So once we had all the information, the first thing we did, and this was with the request of the customer, they wanted to just go fresh and clean. So we didn't uninstall and try to reinstall and reinvent the wheel. So we wiped the head node, rebuilt that with a fresh installation of RHEL 8010. We generated a kickstart image, had the following conditions. We put in the ETH0 network details and the ETH8s, which were the MPI net, which I showed you back on the that first slide there. That hooked up the internal net and the MPI net. In the kickstart, we set up a STIG compliant disk partition. We used the server with GUI profile, and then we applied the DISA-STIG checklist or profile for the server with GUI package selection, and just did a clean head node server installation and got that back clean. So that was nice. Once we did that, we did get SE Linux set to enabled and FIPS mode set to enabled. These were two things that our customer was the FIPS and the SE Linux and the policies associated with them with Bright Cluster Manager on the head node were having difficulty getting things to run properly. They found themselves having to often turn something off or try to disable something to figure out how, whereas the Warewulf stuff, once we imported the policies and the setup, it was a lot less challenging to get it all to work. We added in the relevant firewall rules, applied a number of STIG controls to the box, and then configured it to be a crony server. This is an air-gapped space, so this was something that once we got it set up, it was going into basically a SCIF and wasn't going to have any internet capacities. So we did need to get this configured so that it's sort of a standalone system and can just run and be happy. As I mentioned, it was the Slurm controller, so we did the SE Linux policies and firewall rules for the Slurm stuff, the database. We used MariaDB, Warewulf, DHCP, and then and the STIG controls did also apply to the MariaDB, right? So we did generate STIG checklists for not only the base, but also the MariaDB stuff, the DHCP stuff, and so on. So then once we had Warewulf installed on that thing and up and running, we went ahead and set up a compute profile. Getting the Warewulf up and running was fairly straightforward. We set the DHCP to be the management network, and then set up a profile here for the compute nodes. You can see that the BMC netmask and the provisioning network netmask we just simply set as part of the compute profile, and then we set the net dev to ETH0, given that all of the compute nodes were running off ETH0. We then for the MPI net or the HSN, we call it the HSN just for high speed network. All those net devs were on this ENS3 F0 and P0, and set that net mask accordingly. And then we set the kernel arms. Now I'll go into some of the image stuff in a second, but we do have SE Linux set to 0 because we don't have it in enforcing mode while the system is running. So we want that turned off for best performance. And then we do put the root in tempfs as well. We do STIG the box, but we don't enforce SE Linux. That's one of the exceptions that we need. Getting into the image, we pulled down from the RHEL 8.10, did a repo sync of the base OS, AppStream, Extra, and EPOL repos to a local folder. So we could leverage that, and then download the Warewulf RPMs. On the head node, it's the same equipment, so we did build Slurm and the Munge RPMs.
I'm just going to interrupt you for 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Yep.
But a couple of people have like emailed me saying that they can't hear anything. Like, to me, the volume is fine.
Okay.
I think, I mean, other people spoke too, right? Jonathan, Christian, you can hear,
Yeah.
right? Volume is
It
good.
seems
too.
fine to me.
Okay, yeah, it's like two different.
I can switch to my head.
No,
The
I don't
volume-
think it's you. I think that they're saying that they
Oh, it's
actually
okay,
can't
just-
hear anything.
Oh,
The volume is fine. Kyle gave out a link that doesn't go to the right meeting or something. Because when you join that link that Kyle posted, you just see a bunch of people sitting there and nobody's saying. It's weird. But I went to another link. I went to another link that Scott Champagne posted, and that one is this one, and it works very well.
I shared it wrong with RedLine folks. Oh, no. Oh, crap.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is funny, not funny.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Oh, that's that one.
You know, I mean, we are in the age of this happening. So
Scott or Curtis, do you guys mind posting the correct one to us?
I posted it in that thread, but I can
Thank you,
post it in the general area, sure.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Shoot.
But I'll have to catch the recording.
Yeah, I have to come back
Look at
after
the
this.
recording as well.
So then we put the Warewulf and the Slurm and the Munge content into a folder used to create repo. Then we installed Apache on the head node, configured that as a local repository. In addition, we used a number of Ansible plays to set up that securely and get a state checklist on Apache. So we were running also Apache on the head node, so that the image adjustments and everything like that, and the image deployments could be a little bit more seamless. And we've got a static package repository from which we can pull, so we know what works and what doesn't. So then for the image build, we pulled down the Red Hat UBI 8.10. Using a Docker file, we copied a number of DoD certificates into place. We did a run package, and we listed a bunch of DNF installations to get a viable image to deploy with Warewulf. These packages matched the expectations from the customer provided from the image that they generated on the Bright Cluster Manager. I am not above stealing a couple of the Iron Bank hardening scripts for the images, so I do hire some of those from them. It's publicly available, so they shouldn't give it to me. And then we do update a number of the trusts with the DoD certs and disable old algorithms. Use that to create an image and import that image container build into Warewulf. Once that is into Warewulf and it is in the space, we do use Ansible with Chroot-based plays. You can use OpenSCAP-based STIG playbooks. We've captured OpenSCAP STIG playbooks and modified them accordingly for our customers and updated and configured them so that policies are correctly applied and everything like that. We do apply SE Linux policies where appropriate. Like I said, it is not in this particular cluster. We do run a number of Warewulf clusters for customers that have SE Linux enforced image for their login nodes. Those are deployed with Warewulf. In this case, it was not, but we do apply the policies regardless so that they are available in case that is something that, and then we use Ansible to also generate an SBOM. After everything's lined up, we ensure that the user accounts match expectations on the head nodes, and then perform the sync users to make sure that the containers have the correct user accounts in them. At which point the main thing is the overlays, really the only overlays that we needed to create were LMOD. Like I said, we use this backstack, so we just have an Ansible playbook to build LMOD on an existing node, pull that content back and put it into an overlay. We also have for Slurm, and this was one of this is one of the things that I liked with the Warewulf overlays, is we used for the Slurm on both the head node and the image overlay for Slurm. We used a template, and we're able to dynamically generate the content for the nodes as it pertains to like the ones in a particular partition. All of them went into the same partition in this one, but being able to move them around and move something into a new partition with just some tags inside Warewulf and just update the overlay was easier than trying to manage it through the web GUI for Bright from our customer's perspective. Then did a Chromie overlay just to make sure everything's rounded out. We then took, as you guys had seen, there was the internal net, the iDRAC net, and the HSN net. We just went through, this was a fairly straightforward, we could have done a for loop. I just wanted to put the actual, so we did do a for loop for most of it, and just added in, you can see it was just computer 1, computer 2, it was 67, 68, and so on and so forth. So we did add a tag for the MAC addresses for the IPMI, and the MAC addresses for the NICs, and then added in the HSN for the compute nodes, and that was it. I wish there was some other magical thing I could show you all, but to be perfectly frank, it was not hard. We just grabbed the relevant network stuff, the customer identified the stuff that they needed on the images, the applications were on an NFS share, and so the main thing for that we needed was the LMOD overlay, and we were off to the races. So this was it. We were able to provide, it was fast, got it up and running quickly. I think the biggest thing was just getting the facts set properly for our state checklists, and that's time consuming anywhere you go. But once that was done, yeah, it just ran with the Warewulf setup. So that was really it.